Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakah Kudash. Double wonders unto the elder apostles of great Millstone rule well. And shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Paya Allah. And this is news and prophecy news update. This is a follow-up to the previous videos done. Previous video done. Um, so this is the second article I got from the Atlantic. All right, the headline reads, "Don't look at stock markets, look at the ports. A drop in maritime traffic suggests the worst is yet to come." All right, so let's get into it. It says, stock markets plunged for days after President Donald Trump announced steep tariffs on imports from around the world. The sell-off ebbed only when he suspended most, but not all, of the new measures for 90 days. The ticker tape is just one indicator of an economy. All right, so even the fact that ultimately, I said some, not all, but for 90 days, as we read on, I haven't read this article, but I believe it's going to speak to the effects that are going to take place in the upcoming days, weeks, or so. But basically, what you gotta keep bear in mind as well is this is set for 90 days, so around about 3 months. All right. So this is gonna kind of give you a preview, and this is works in line with what Esau Edom does when it comes to gradualism. All right, chipping away at the people and kind of getting people used to, normalizing certain things that are going on within the world. All right. Baby, 1 second. 1 second. Damn, boy. So reading on it says, the ticker tape is just one indicator of an economy, and other signs are growing more and more ominous, including at the port of Los Angeles, which high tariffs on China are crushing maritime traffic. Essentially, all shipments out of China for major retailers and manufacturers have ceased. Eugene Siroka, the executive director of the port, said on April the 24th. Trump views tariffs as essential to rebuilding the manufacturing economy that the United States once had. But his erratic tariff announcements have badly disrupted the economy that the country has today, and that pain is already being felt in the world of logistics. Yeah, in in all reality, what he should have done is really, it's an abrupt way to halt the system. We know that Trump is working for the banking elites. All right. When you go into the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, it speaks about the beast system lacking onto being. Let me check this real quick. Refresh my mind. Yeah, lamb. Having two lambs, uh, two horns like a lamb. So that but it's on the same head. All right, and that being the left and the right. Everyone now, that's the big divide. Oh, the left. Oh, the right. You know, etc., etc. But essentially, they're part of the same beast, the same animal. All right. The point being is that this abrupt change in direction, if Trump really wanted the American economy to grow and to build up, um, you know, American manufacturing and develop that, it would be a real rigorous process. All right, because even it's like the cost of making those goods that China and whatnot are making. You can't afford to do it on American soil. But the fact that he's done it in this manner, right? This man's the president. He ain't no ordinary, Joe. Like this is you're the head over hundreds and millions of people in the the greatest economy in the world. All right, Babylon the Great, the chief nation upon the face of the earth. I'm sure you would. There's people that are more than capable of telling him, "Look, that's not a smart idea." All right, but then you have to think of the phrase "cui bono," who benefits. All right, this abrupt change benefits greatly to bring about the prophecies of the Heavenly Father, and also feeds into their implementing their beast system. All right. So reading on it says, Trump views tariffs as essential to rebuilding the manufacturing economy that the United States once had, but his erratic tariff announcements have badly disrupted the economy that the country has today, and that pain is already being felt in the world of logistics. These are big, massive bullwhips that have not been seen since COVID. Damn, I said. Evan Smith, the CEO of the supply chain management company Atlanta Technologies, told me the tariffs themselves are a shock to the system, and the shock is echoed and amplified across the entire chain. Even if there is a resolution, there is resolution. It will take 9 to 12 months to work out those bumps. Wow! So you can see this is saying that it's gonna have a big effect on the economy. Yeah. So all right, and that's saying if there's a resolution. So excuse me. The port of Los Angeles, the busiest in the Western Hemisphere, processes about 17% of everything in the 17% of everything in the United States. Imports or exports in shipping containers. The adjoining port of Long Beach accounts for another 14%. So altogether, that's 28%. That's more than a quarter of shipping pertaining to California, man. All right, dealing with the America. Over the years, a whole ecosystem has arisen to support the loading and unloading of the cars, clothes, electronic gadgets, and other things that people want. So basically, that region has basically developed into a region where everyone's able to live and sustain their day-to-day lives through everything that's coming through them ports. All right. There are workers in warehouses, trucks, and loading pads, security structures, and rail lines. Soroka estimated that cargo arrivals would soon be down 35% over the same time last year. At the moment, the drop in traffic seems likelier to accelerate than to reverse. The number of cargo ships canceling port calls or entire voyages is on the rise. A number of shipments now underway were instigated before Trump's so-called Day tariff announcement on April 2nd. So let me read it again, man. My mind's straight. Excuse me. So Roca estimated the cargo arrivals would soon be down 35% over the same time last year. All right, so that's like a third. All right, down. At the moment, a drop in traffic seems likelier to accelerate than to reverse. All right, so this ain't something that's gonna, pump the brakes. 35% is the tip of the iceberg. It's gonna get worse. The number of cargo ships canceling port calls or entire voyages is on the rise. So there's even a great lessening of cargo ships being brought in due to the tariffs. All right, a number of shipments now underway were instigated before Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariff announcement on April 2nd. So that's basically the ripple effect of what Trump was putting in place. All right, but now that it's changed, it's gonna have basically that change, that turnaround that Trump's done. It's still gonna have a big ripple effect where it's gonna echo throughout the nation and people are gonna feel it. All right. According to Fortu, a cargo management and tracking company, reservations for shipping products must normally be placed 2 weeks before a cargo vessel launches. The trip from China from California typically takes 2 or more additional weeks. In other words, the full effects of the US tariff policies on maritime traffic may not be apparent for some time, a minimum of 2+ weeks. All right, then you start seeing the effects. So going from April 2nd, and even then, I wouldn't say April 2nd, the moment Trump said it, obviously they probably would have seen, what's the, they might have to go to their attorneys, their solicitors, we know them over here, all right, and speak to them as far as what's the legality, what's the, red and yellow tape behind this stuff to make sure they're within the bounds of everything they're doing. So there's going to be a ripple effect, and then they may be able to, throughout that 90-day period, they may be to build like a buffer, some form of anticipation, but then that's even going to run dry. Say if they do it, they play it like Joseph did in Egypt with Pharaoh, and they say let's double up on our stock supply. And even then, let's be real, it doubling up on your supply of stock, whatever you need, it's down to whether you have the capital to do so, whether the container ships or the cargo ships have the ability to do so, and whether the actual manufacturer or the whatever you desire to get is available with like to that degree. So there's a lot of moving parts whereby the Most High knows, God knows, as they say, whether they'll be able to cover their arse somewhat, but the effects are still going to be felt nonetheless. All right. Uh, so where was I? Yeah. The economy and the supply chains that allowed it to function can adjust fairly quickly to certain shocks, including weather disasters, even a pandemic. Early in the COVID shutdowns, toilet paper was in short supply as Americans spent more time at home and less at workplace and schools. The problem eased as manufacturers ramped up production, transportation systems adapted, and consumer anxiety decreased. So that even is like a good, petri dish like experiment, or like look under the magnifying glass as far as when a supply, something's in demand and the various uh links in the chain can be affected, all right, and how it, the ripple effect of it all. What you gotta wait on, you gotta wait on this part of the chain, that part, and in turn it all works together, and hopefully it can, account for each other so that it can cover you in the future. So this really shows you this is a big thing. It's not light, all right. But Trump's trade war is different because it's unpredictable and indefinite. Even if he were to renounce tariffs tomorrow, Trump has already shaken global confidence in American economy, American economic policy making. No one can comfortably make business decisions based on what he does, unless the Republican controlled Congress steps in to quickly take away the president's ability to impose import duties at will. A failed effort so far. Even foreign trading partners who believe they have a deal with the United States could be at risk of capricious, excuse me, look up this word, capricious, fickle, capricious. I wonder where that word goes back to. I'm gonna look this up real quick, man, because that's one hell of an interesting word. Let's look at
Capricious.
capricious.
Capriccioso.
Okay. Yes, naughty. Well, I know some capricious people, some naughty and wild people. All right, let me get back to it. So reading on it says, um, risk of capricious new taxes and on their products. So basically, Trump's a wild card, all right, and you don't really know how to take him. All anything's able to be put on the table with that individual. Tariffs don't just reduce the flow of goods coming into the country; they also cause an atrophying atrophying of the logistics system that moves products into, out of, and around the United States. Less cargo volume, less jobs. That's the rule here. All right. So you have a lot of people losing their work. You have companies shutting down. Ripple effect, man. If you ain't got the capital or the wearable, Novid showed you that. Like, if you don't have the infrastructure, like your business doesn't have the infrastructure to, weather the storm of that that period, basically, you're out of there, and then someone will absorb all of your company. Someone will pivot into that space, or a new company will pop up, or whatever it may be, and take your place. All right. So, describing how 1 in 9 jobs in the greater Los Angeles region arises directly or indirectly from its ports. Port complexes are like your baby toe on your foot. Wait, hold on. Let me read this again. All right. Duh, 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 duh. Okay, Mario Cordiero, CEO of the Port of Long Beach, said recently, describing how 1 in 9 jobs in the greater Los Angeles region arises directly or indirectly from its ports. So that's a great number. Port complexes are like your baby toe on your foot. Peter Neffinger, the former commander of the Coast Guard sector that includes Los Angeles and Long Beach, told me, "You don't think about it until you break it one day and you realize I can't walk." That's right, man. Being someone that's suffered many an injury, sometimes the slightest. I mean, the slightest of thing, you don't realize how much of your body works in chain and in unison with another until you get injured. You could get dead butt syndrome, sciatica. Your IT band could affect you. Stiffness in, patella. What do they call it? Uh, Patella tendonitis. Plantar fascius slack. Build. There's all kinds of different injuries, man. You could cut your pinky finger, and now you can't grip things properly. You have your there's the list goes on. All right, you don't really no one understand how effective that little part of your body is or system is until it's put in question. All right, where when it suffers an injury, what have you. So when you're reading on it says like the shipping businesses into and out of Los Angeles, the nationwide trucking industry is slowing down because drivers have a lot less cargo to move. Without inventory arriving or en route, small businesses will falter. Bigger industries will shrink, shelves will be empty. And this is also part of, I forget what the name is. I remember Apostle Tar mentioned it a couple times. It's not globalization. It's like global. It's another word. Globalization. What's the word? There's another word connected to it. It's right there. Not global. Industrialization. Not industrial. Globalization. It's when countries all come together. Fuck. It's the name of this word, man. Not globalization. This is what I'll do. Mm, mm, do you know? No. Where's this word, man? Bloody hell. Slovakia, man. It's something to do with annexing and it's escaping me right now, man. So look, man. You know what? I'm gonna have to leave it. But globalization is also a part of it. Um, damn, man. Let me just finish up on this. This week, Trump blamed former President Joe Biden rather than his own politics for the recent turmoil on Wall Street. What's happening in Los Angeles suggests that, if anything, financial markets have yet to fully price in how much Trump's tariff war is hurting the economy. The stock market goes up and down. Maritime indicators keep on sinking. There you go, man. There you go. So let's get some scriptures on this. Let's build on this point. All right. All right, let me read this. This is Rock 10:1. Gonna read down to verse 3. So it says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And what comes to mind is dealing with Trump when he had Zelensky come over and he was sizing him up, telling him, "Yo, why do you wear a suit?" And he had these vice president, I forget his name, it escapes me right now. Um, mm, JD Vance. See, I was right. I was gonna say Cassie, K- uh, Vanda. That's what I was, oh my days. Yeah. So it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of people the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Yeah. So you had basically this individual, JD Vance, when he was um JD Vance, when he was getting at Zelensky, he was onto him. Why was he onto him? Because he was taking up for Trump, man. All right, but he really just showed you like guy was a meme. I wasn't even gonna say that, but he was just following in line with his leader. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them that are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right, and we can see that that's this is not what is happening. The country is happening because Trump has been set up in that place to basically bring death and destruction to America. Hence, it being a year of judgment, death and deliverance and destruction for America. All right, he's walking in that stead. Let's build upon that with what the Lord said prophetically, what we see happening in this day and age. All right, these are prophecies hopping off of that the Bible, man. All right. Um. So this is the book of Matthew 24:4. And Yahweh shall answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. So this is the effect we're seeing this come into play right now, man. Whereby these various different plagues and pandemics and whatnot. All right. All right. So this is the book of Second Ezra 16 and 19. Behold, famine and plague and tribute. Salakia, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, so these things that are happening right now, we can see that these things, or what's going to take effect, Lord willing, through the course of the next few days, is sent for amendment. All right, a scourge like a whipping with a belt for you to get in line and do the right thing. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Right, these things that are happening are not bringing it to the front of people's minds that maybe this is a curse from the Heavenly Father because of all the wickedness that's happening. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap on earth upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And this is what we're seeing happening right now. The evils are growing, all right. The love of many is waxing cold. This is what we're seeing happen, all right. Because the victuals were so good cheap, they thought they were in good estate. I finish on this one as a form of comfort unto the elect. So it's the book of Job 5 and 19. So it reads, He shall deliver thee in six troubles, yea, in seven there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death. So, when these shortages are to come, you'll have redemption if you be of the elect, which Lord willing we hope we are. And in war from the power of the sword, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be in peace with thee. All right. So with that, I pray you're edified to the next one. Say shalom. Shalom.